back when the war broke out over 3 years ago now. We just kind of wanted to help. And previously I was working in fund development. And so was my mom. And we had a friend going to Poland to get his sister. And so he was collecting donations to bring because all of these people were coming with just one suitcase. And if you look around your house, it's a lot of things that you have to replace. And so we had some leftover stuff after he left. There's only so many suitcases that he could take. And we're like, we'll do a little pop-up of a free store was the whole premise. And that you could shop for what you wanted and what you needed out of donated items and then take them at no cost. So my fiance was managing a building at a time. And he had an open unit, a yoga studio. And I was like, hey, can we just use it just for a couple weekends? And he's like, yeah, I don't see why not. And a couple weekends turned into like almost a year because the demand just like kept coming. So on both ends of things. So newcomers kept coming in. At our peak, we were serving 400 families a week.
Wow.
And we were like the busiest spot on 104th Street. But then also Canadians kept donating. They would keep coming with truckloads of stuff to donate, new and used. So it was really cool. The newcomers who would come to shop, they returned as volunteers because they're like, wow, all these people are helping us. We also want to help. And also like it gave them a community and a sense of something to do during a really hard time. So, sorry, this is like very like long-winded way.
That's
I promise
okay.
I'm getting there.
We have time. We have time. Yeah.
So when the Canadians would drop things off, they would say, oh, you guys should make pierogies. Like we love pierogies here in Edmonton. We just love them. And you guys would make such good pierogies. So the volunteers came to us. And again, this is very much just a crisis response at the time. And they're like, these Canadians keep asking us for food. We should try it maybe. And we had no idea about what any of it looked like. We opened a website. We had 18 online orders. And then after we took the orders, found out we needed a commercial kitchen. So we're like, so I was bartending part-time at Cook County. And I called them up and I was like, super weird request, but we don't need the kitchen till the evening. Could we come in the morning and use your guys' kitchen to make pierogies?
Wow.
And they're like, yeah, I don't see why not. So we came in.
Shout out to them for letting you do that so early on. That's huge. Wow.
It was awesome. And also I felt bad because like the chef came in and he had been there till like 3 a.m. the night before. And then he had to come in at like 8 a.m. We're like, hey. So a bunch of us came in. The really cool thing, actually, the newcomers had never seen a cowboy in real life.
Okay.
So something just like only in American films, they said. So we came in. We were all like, they're all singing, they're all speaking Ukrainian. And we said to the chef, we're like, oh, like, we're so sorry. We come into your kitchen, wake you up, and you don't even understand what anyone's saying. And he is First Nation. He's from Samson Cree. And he goes, no, I don't know my language because it was taken away from me.
Wow.
So he's like, I understand what Russia's trying to do completely. Do not quit speaking it. And any way I can help, like, make this not happen.
He's got your back. Sing away.
Yeah. Like all those synergies between the Indigenous and Ukrainian communities for like years, it just was like the perfect start for us.
Right.
And like, you being an immigrant as well, like for us, it's weird to, even though I'm like third generation Ukrainian Canadian, it's weird to welcome people on land that isn't ours.
100%.
Yeah. So it was nice that like he kind of welcomed them in, and then they kind of learned about that. So the media also loved the story. So we went from 18 orders to $30,000 in 30 hours. So we had to shut it off because if you do the math, it's like a lot of pierogies.
Yeah.
So shut it off. We just still didn't have a kitchen. Tried to figure out where we were going to make this. We ended up at Dormition Parish, which is a church over on the West End. Using their commercial kitchen. At this point, we were paying all the girls honorariums, but like we didn't have a payroll set up. We didn't even know if this business was like going to continue, if it was profitable, if it was possible. But people kept asking us, when can we buy more food? We had to like say no orders. It took us like 3 weeks. And obviously they loved the story and that's why they bought. But then they're like, oh my goodness, this is the best food I've ever had. Like I want to keep buying.
No way. So that's the way that it evolved, and that you went from different so you've changed locations very quickly as you've grown. But I'm so curious, that first batch of pierogies, when people are telling you, Jorjia, the people want pierogies, give them pierogies.
Yeah.
What was that first like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should just whoop some up in our kitchen. Like, what was that like? that first round?
I remember like sitting there with Roman, one of our other like founders at the time. He's no longer with us, but he comes back and helps all the time. But we're like trying to figure out this like website. We're like, what pierogies should we even sell? We like messaged the newcomers, and they gave me way too many. We've had to like narrow it down since. Like, no, we need to have this one.
There's no shortage, right?
Yeah, and we're like, how do we add these? Like, how many should be in a bag? We're like, wait a second, like, where do we even put them? Like, what bags do we put them in?
Bags? You need bags? You don't just sell them on a plate? Yeah.
We're like, how do we label them? Like, literally so the first ones, I think we literally wrote on the bags with Sharpie. Like, just like a letter.
No way.
Like, C for cheddar or something. I have I'm like looking back. I do know our bags, they were like, we're mentored by one of the co-founders of Starbucks, so Zev Siegel, and we showed him them one. He's like, it kind of looks like a bag of poop because it was just like this like doggy bag.
11 out of 10 marketing. Yeah.
Pierogies. Yeah. And we're like, no, but they taste really good, but the like labels would fall off in the freezer, so you'd like pull your bags out and you're like, I don't know what flavor I'm cooking today. Now we have real bags and stuff, but yeah, like we had no idea. We just kind of like launched this, and then 18 orders is kind of manageable. Yeah. Right. But then all of a sudden, like $30,000, like we didn't, I think we just bought our groceries at Superstore. Like we didn't even know like wholesale club and stuff.
What is it? Yeah. and I can just, even starting out, the fact that you're selling these pierogies in like a brown bag, it's kind of like, it doesn't get any more like authentic and real than that. And I think people kind of like understand like, hey, this isn't like made in a factory. Yeah. This is as like support local as it possibly gets.